Okay, we've lined up a game. It's what was it, Tuesday? Yeah, it's Tuesday. Si's has actually got the week off, so just before work, we've planned a game. It's just a 1,000-point game. So it's going to be Bretonnians versus Ogres. These are kind of like what we're hoping our escalation forces will look like at 1,000 points. So we thought I'd try them out. Like I say, we haven't really got underway with the escalation yet. So in the process of painting and just cleaning up our 500-point armies, and our mate John's just started his as well. So, but we wanted a slightly bigger game this today, so we went for 1,000 points. But this is probably what the escalation will look like after a few months, and painted as well. But anyway, so 1,000-point game. It's battle line. We're playing on a 4x4. We've got a couple of rules for our campaign. And that is 1,000 points. We're only going to have D3 for magic, 2D3. But you can throw up to 6 dice at a spell still, which basically allows a level 1 to still have a spell and still be able to get it off, which is quite nice. And encourages people not to take level 4s and just destroy everyone with big 6 spells. So also the 1,000-point level, the magic item restriction has been lifted, as in you can have magic items, but only up to 10% of your army, so 50 points worth. Sorry, no, that's 5%. And other than that, it's pretty much the same. We're debating whether the 6 spell thing should be lifted at 1,000 points. We can say yes for now, even though none of us rolled it for this game, but as obviously there's more units. Other than that, these aren't tournament rules, they're just for rules for our campaign to keep it friendly. Although Si's army is probably not the most friendly, but then that is the nature of ogres, so fair enough. Okay, so this is the Bretonnian army. We've got 5 questing knights with a level 2 damsel with the Law of Life. She's got Earth Blood and Flesh to Stone, and she's also the general. We've got 6 knight errant with full command. Sorry, they're not full command, they're standard bearer and the champion. These guys actually have full command just to push the damsel into the 2nd rank. We've got 8 Knights of the Realm with the standard bearer and champion, and the BSB, who's a paladin. He's got a couple of minor magic items. We've got 10 peasant bowmen with defensive stakes, a trebuchet, and 25 men at arms with a standard. And that's it. So it's the end of Bretonnian deployment.
Okay, Ogre deployment. I have basically upped my model count by about 6 models for another 500 points, which is the awesome thing about ogres. So they're going to be great to paint. But yeah, in my 1,000-point list, I have a lone saber tusk over here on my left flank. And then I have a nice big unit of 11 ogre bulls, just with a hand weapon and light armour and an iron fist. He's led by, this time, a level 2 fire belly with a great weapon. Over here is 3 Mournfang cavalry. That was a mistake I made from last time. In 500 I should have had 3, but I may have to drop that just in case. Our friend John gets mullered. But yeah, we'll sort out general sort of fairness a bit later on. For now, I think the gloves are off. But yeah, 3 Mournfang cavalry now with heavy armour. All the trimmings basically give them a nice 2-up armour save. And then over here is my Stonehorn. So yeah, he sits holding my right flank. So very, very small footprint army, but as I've been learning, in theory at least, they should hit pretty hard. So yeah, I ended up finishing deployment first, so I get +1. Though I suspect Ollie is going to want to pray.
Yes.
So that gives me the first turn. So yeah, I'll see you in a bit. Okay, end of Ogre turn 1. Everyone just moved up. Everyone was moving forward. Magic phase, I basically rolled 4 dice. Ollie got 3 dispels and a channel. And then I tried to cast Fulminating Flame Cage on his Lord's unit. But yeah, unfortunately, I rolled a 10 on 4 dice, which was pretty miserable. So, and Ollie would have dispelled it with a slightly better 11. So on 4 dice. So yeah, we both kind of well, nothing happened. A bit disappointing, but yeah. So a very short first turn, and we will see what Bretonnians get.
Okay, it's the end of Bretonnians' turn 1. The archers just moved around so they could shoot at the Saber Tusk. Men-at-arms just moved back to get out of the way. That was it. None of the knights moved. The errant passed their impetuous test for the first time ever, which was nice. Then the magic phase, rolled 5, didn't get a channel, so I got 3 obviously. Managed to cast Flesh to Stone on these guys, which was nice. Then in the shooting phase, the peasants fired at the Saber Tusk, got 3 hits but no wounds. Then the trebuchet fired at the Mournfang, but unfortunately scattered off. So it's a bit of a shame. It's kind of be nice to kill one of those. But yeah, so that's the end of Bretonnians' turn 1.
Okay, end of Ogre's turn 2. My Saber Tusk is attempting a little flanking manoeuvre. Although the men-at-arms are desperately trying to hem that dude off. But yeah, keep them busy for a bit. My ogres have just moved up. Mournfang have moved up, as is the Thunder Tusk. Magic phase, I managed to get Fulminating Flame Cage on the Paladin's unit, which was rather handy. Although I did 5 wounds, only managed to save them all. But still, if they move, he's screwed. Hopefully. But yeah. Then last pot shot with a bolt thrower at the questing knights. It hit but failed to wound because of the Flesh to Stone Ollie had cast. So yeah, well, a fairly reasonable turn. I didn't kill anything, but I got Fulminating Flame Cage off. So happy days. So yeah, on to Bretonnian turn 2.
Okay, it's end of Bretonnians' turn 2, and it couldn't have gone much worse if it had tried. The errants failed their impetuous test and decided to charge the Mournfang, which was fine because that's what I wanted to do. But then they failed their charge, and of course they sent in the Knights of the Realm with them to assist them, and so the Knights of the Realm went in by themselves. The questing Knights went into the Stonehorn. These guys just moved up. These guys turned around and shoot the Saber Tusk, and Trebuchet didn't do anything. Then in the magic phase, so I got a channel, so I didn't actually manage to get off my Flesh to Stone. So we sold these guys out. So yeah. Then the shooting phase, I managed to do a wound to the Saber Tusk and not kill it, which was great. Tree Bucket missed again. Then in close combat, these guys got slaughtered by the Mournfang, did 2 wounds in return. I think it turned out to be a draw, which would be okay in any other world unless you're about to get flanked by bows. And these guys died hard. They died really hard. I thought they were Flesh to Stone with their ward save and armour save, but no, they died hard. I failed all their armour saves and ward saves, and so I just rolled like a beast and just killed 3 of them outright, so before they even got to swing. So managed to do a wound in return, but I passed my break test thankfully. So yeah, this gone south almost straight away. So we'll see what happens in Si's turn, but it's probably over at the end of his turn. We'll see.
Okay, end of Ogre's turn 3.
2, isn't it?
No, it's turn 3.
Oh,
You,
right.
yeah.
Oh, I feel a little bit better.
Basically, the big Ogre unit charged into the flank of the Paladin's unit. My Saber Tusk moved up around to threaten the Trebuchet. And then magic phase, nothing really happened because I was in combat, so I couldn't do anything. I was also out of casting arc. So it basically all boiled down to close combat. Between the Mournfang and the unit, they wiped out the Paladin's guide to the last, leaving only the Paladin who failed his break test and obviously died. Over here, the Stonehorn killed the damsel and one of the questing knights, leaving only the champion, who also failed his break test, fled and was caught. And then basically everyone reformed, ready for the next turn. And I think Ollie is going to concede at this point.
Shall we do my turn 3?
Yeah.
And try and get some points.
That's cool. Alright, well, we will then see you in Bretonnian turn 3.
Okay, it's end of Bretonnians turn 3, and yes, this is still the same battle, believe it or not. Okay, so in the movement phase I charged the Knights Errant and the Peasants into the huge block of Ogres with his general, and just move the bowmen round. There was also no magic phase. Shooting phase, the trebuchet decided to blow itself up instead of actually doing something useful, which is a bit of a shame. The Peasants shot at the Stonehorn because I kind of thought that the Sabertusk was just going to kill that anyway. So I just shot the Stonehorn instead, didn't do anything to it. Then in close combat, pow! My Errant charged in, did some wounds. Peasants charged in and did 5 wounds to one of the Ogres. And actually got a 12 combat res of 12. So I fought back, killed 4 Errant, 5 Peasants. Unfortunately didn't have a command, was disrupted, and actually failed his break test. Obviously with no BSB. So the Errants pursued and caught him. And so his big block is dead, believe it or not. So I still not that hopeful about winning, but that cheered me up. That must have been a fair chunk of points.
It was.
So we'll see what happens in Ogre's turn 4, because this game's carrying on. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, in a big turn of events, I'm actually really worried now. Because I charged at his Knight Errants, who fled like cowards. And basically it put me in a failed charge, which means that I'm going to get flanked by the Peasants. And with only having one Ogre able to attack and no Mournfang, all he needs is his static combat res really, and me to fluff everything, and they're gone. And he might actually win, which would really be annoying because I don't like it when people win because of luck. But as you may have gathered from previous games, but yeah, this would be a most impressive turnaround if this was the case. So yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes. But I'm actually now really worried. So that is the end of Ogre's turn 4.
Okay, it's the end of Bretonnian's turn 4, is it?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So in the movement phase, my Peasants charged the Boardfag in the flank. These guys are rallied, and these guys just turn around. Shooting phase, I shot the Sabertusk, which was nice. And then in close combat, my Peasants continue their rampage. Did no wounds to the Mournfang, but 1 through static combat res, so I killed one of mine. He failed his break test, run 8, bounced through his Stonehorn, and fell off the board. And I failed to restrain and just moved up. Not that really matters because that Stonehorn's coming after me anyway, for blood. But yeah, so as Sides pointed out, so far my Peasants have racked up over 700 points of kill.
729 points.
729 points, and this unit costs 135. So Sides not impressed, but I suspect he's about to get his revenge. We'll see. So we'll see you at the end of Ogre's turn 5.
Okay, very short Ogre turn. Charged in, butchered the entire unit, took a wound in return. They scarpered, but I failed to catch them. I'm now totally out of place because I really needed to have caught them to even have any chance of victory. So now I have a sneaky suspicion I've lost it. So
no, because there are only 194 points in total there.
Ah, right, okay.
So you'll easily kill the pheasant.
Right. Well, then that kind of goes for a very, very narrow victory then, perhaps. So yeah, we'll see what happens in Bretonnian turn 5.
Okay, end of Bretonnian's turn 5, and the magic keeps on happening. The peasants failed to rally and fled a bit more, which is great. That's fine with me. The Knights Errant just turned around. Hope maybe charged the thing on turn 6. I don't know yet. And the archers didn't let me down. They shot at the stone horn, who's obviously in short range. Got plenty of hits and actually did 2 wounds to it. So I'm not as impressed as I was. But we'll see what happens in Ogre's turn 6.
Yeah, Ollie's won the game at my end of my turn 5
Well, we're going to do
to
my
turn
last
6.
turn and see if I can table him.
Yeah, this is probably the second most annoying game of Warhammer I've ever had. I did nothing wrong and lost because of it. That's really that's unspeakably annoying. So yeah,
let's do the Bretonnian
we'll
shoot.
do the Bretonnian shooting
Do it
now.
live.
Yeah, basically,
So Bretonnian turn will just be these guys shooting at in an attempt to table them.
Yeah.
Oh, I suppose I can try and rally those because I would have to. They fail. So they might run off the board. Oh no!
Oh
no! Size Whiting's helped him out!
Oh!
I turned right on the edge. Look at that. That's on the edge. That's right on the edge, man. Look at it. What do you say? I don't think you can be an inch near the edge though, can you? I mean, an inch away from the edge? Or is that just buildings?
I don't know. I'm really annoyed that I didn't build the table correctly.
Well, we'll say they're off the board.
Yeah.
That's so close. Though.
But fucking hell. Oh.
But I'm going to shoot you.
Yeah.
So side has 1 at the moment, but I'm going to change that. So there's a few hits. That wasn't it. There's only 1 wound. Can't win anyway. Both fluff it.
I failed, so yeah.
Okay. So Sire wins. Thanks to his ancient ritual of having a last minute win.
But yeah, that was.
Well, that was about as close as it could be.
Basically, the double 6 was. I didn't see that coming anywhere. I mean, that was.
Yeah, so it's 1 inch less over 1.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty incredible.
The greatest comeback ever, though.
It is the problem with a gut style unit, unfortunately, or an ogre style unit is you put all your eggs in one basket, but that shouldn't have happened. But peasants with 10 attacks shouldn't ever get 5 wounds on ogres. It's just no. So I thought I kind of figured, I'll get a couple of wounds. The first combat will be a draw, and then I'll get the Mornfang in, rip ass, and happy days. But no, I wasn't worried in the slightest because I honestly thought I was going to pretty much rampage and table you by about turn 4.
Yeah.
And as it happened, yeah. So there is fight in a Bretonnian army, even though
it's not from the knights.
No.
Makes you wonder if Bretonnians are really worth it and wants to just take Empire because apparently bad infantry is actually better than elite knights. I think obviously the moral of this story is there's no such thing as a Death Star because there is always ways to beat them, even if it is through insane luck. But yeah, so those Bretonnian presents, obviously man of the match. They destroyed over half his army, with a little help from these errants.
729 points they basically wiped out.
Yeah.
Is incredibly impressive.
These archers knocked 3 wounds off of that, which was nice. Killed a saber tusk, which is pretty good. The knights errant did very little. They put a few wounds on the ogres initially. My other 2 units did nothing at all, really. They killed a Mournfang with the Knights of the Realm. And the questing knights just died horribly because they had no magic buffs, which I was kind of expecting, but I like the models, so I shall continue to use them, but they are rubbish. In such a small point game, at least, you need more of them. The trebuchet was useless, but, you know, that's just bad luck, really.
Yeah, I think it would have been. I think
yeah,
if
I'd even got one off and killed a Mournfang or something, that would have been a panic test, wouldn't it?
Or like smashed up a couple of ogres and stuff and really weakened that.
Yeah,
unit, I think things would have changed.
So I shall be. Well, I like the list actually, but it to start off with, it seemed pretty grim because that initial charge into the ogre unit, obviously errants failing, it was just a slaughter. So. And the questing knights did nothing without the buffs, and obviously failing all my armour and ward saves didn't help. But the peasants just shows you like a bit of luck. But that's always what I like. I mean, you know, people moan about luck and bad luck and stuff, but sometimes it's just fun to see a unit that you wouldn't expect to be able to do anything to rampage for an entire army, because you know, just wants to keep the game. If it was a game of just everything was average, it'd be really boring.
Well, yeah, that's it.
So a bit of insane luck every now and again is awesome, and really does make for an interesting battle.
Yeah, it's sort of. I as soon as I saw with the Mournfang not getting the charge and then failing it. Yeah, I mean, if I'd thought about it in retrospect, what I probably should have done was position the Mournfang to flank the peasants. But I was kind of. It's a psychological thing because I was annoyed at losing the big unit of ogres. I was pretty fucked off with that, and I thought, you know, right, I'm going to finish off these bloody these knights errant and then go and wreck the rest of his army. And yeah, if I played it properly, what I should have done was just position myself and then just taken and then just charged, wiped out the peasants.
Yeah.
And then hunted the rest of his army down with both the Mournfang and the and then obviously the victory would have been quite a lot different because then there would have been nearly half my army left instead of only a quarter of my army left, because that Stonehorn is a quarter of the army.
Yeah.
And it's I'll tell you what, it's damn good.
It is really good.
235 in a 1,000-point game. It really hits hard, and I really do like it.
It's probably one of the best environments for it as well because it's relatively safe from like artillery and stuff. Because you know, I mean, trebuchet's not going to kill it. It's going to take at least 2 turns to kill it. So, and it's so fast. So yeah, it's pretty powerful in such a small game. Well, it's powerful anyway, but it's more powerful in a small game.
Yeah, kind of using it.
It's a one-man army, yes.
Yeah, I was tempted to use it as a support unit, but I kind of figured that I'll stick it on one of the flanks and then just use it, try and break through.
Yeah.
And then send it in against well, what I probably expected was going to be the dual charge of the two other knight units. But yeah, I kind of it ended up just about managing to win me the game. But yeah, it kind of does teach you a lesson. You've got to sort your head out and play properly right up until the last.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't take your foot off the accelerator.
Yeah, even when both your premier units die in turn 2. And then you go, oh, time for the peasants. Because I was wavering a bit, but I'm glad I continued on turn 3 because I reclaimed quite a lot of dignity. And although none of my knights were actually there to witness it. So, as this is campaign based, I'd like to think that the knights errant then slaughtered the rest of the peasants. They just went back to their lord saying that they'd performed all kinds of heroic deeds. So, yeah, it was a happy ending.
Well, the Stonehorn rider
had plenty to munch on.
Yeah, sent as the Morfang cavalry came back to see whether there were any spoils, the Stonehorn chased them off, and the Ogre managed to satisfy his hunger for at least an evening. With plenty of lovely tin food.
So, so these are the new Bretonnian lords, just by default, because if anyone's left alive, these guys get killed by them. And this guy's pretty happy because he's got more noms than one Stonehorn can eat.
So he doesn't have to share.
Yeah. So that's it. So I hope you enjoyed that battle report. It was going to be a really short one, but turned into quite a comeback with some epic twists and turns. I really enjoyed it, so probably not so much. But I did win, so can't really knock it.
But it was kind of leaves a little bit of a bad taste in your mouth. But
yeah,
still, it was.
He only had one wound left in his army, but still won. So, so we'll see you later. Maybe we'll have some more games during the week.
Yes.
Okay.